Welcome to the Random Encounter Show. I'm Deathstalker 5, coming in for another episode of Table Talk. It's been a while. Yeah, we have some catching up to do. In this Table Talk, we're going to have something for everyone around here. We've got some tabletop gaming stuff. We've got classic video gaming, retro gaming. We've got thrift store finds, etc. Yeah, so you know what that means. We're unscripted, we're teleprompter free, just impromptu, sitting down and talking, having a discussion. Make sure you have something to drink. This week, I'm drinking, what is this? A Spriker root beer. This is something I've discovered here in the last couple of months. And let me tell you something. It is literally the best root beer I've ever tasted in my life. They're made here in America, obviously from a German company. I checked them out. They've got an actual brewery. They make beer, all type of things. The root beer is killer. It's rich. It's foamy. It's fantastic. Get rid of the top. Anyways, guys, yeah, this episode's brought to you unofficially by Spriker Root Beer. What me to tell you. Anyways, guys, number one thing is we've went over 1,500 subscribers in my little break. Goodness gracious, what's going on around the Random Encounter Army? I owe a huge thank you to all of our new subscribers coming in. Welcome, you're being conscripted into the Random Encounter Army. Hope you enjoy your stay and hope to hear from you. We've got our Facebook page, our Facebook groups, we got our Discord, etc. Links to everything all down below in the description of the video. Have to thank our new members coming in, our channel members. In my absence, I've made sure to keep the members updated on what's going on. And we've got some exciting projects coming very soon. Hopefully at the end of this month, we start one of them. Yeah, so it's a great time to be a channel member right now. I just wanted to plug that just for a second. Why? Because if I don't do it up front, we're going to completely forget about it by the end of the video. I've got so much to show you. Yeah, we're going to save this video gaming stuff toward the end. We're going to start us off with some tabletop gaming. This is our thrift store find. Technically not a thrift store. I don't do thrift stores much anymore. We can just go off the rails a little bit. You know, thrift stores are normally the stores that's ran by some kind of charitable organization. Maybe it's a church, a charity, etc. Who knows? The thrift stores aren't the place to find deals anymore, especially on gaming stuff. Yeah, you've got Goodwill and all these other greedy places. Instead of, you know, people donating stuff, giving them stuff free, instead of giving great deals out on it and trying to move it, they've set up auction sites online and everything. You go in the store and the stuff is priced higher than eBay. Forget it. You're out of here. Not going to do it. I've very happy that in my community, the traditional junk store has came back. Yeah, there's several of them that just opened up out of the blue. What is a junk store? Some of you may be wondering. A junk store is normally an individual. They rent a space or whatever. They're not taking in donations. I guess they might. I don't know. But basically, they round up stuff at yard sales, estate sales, business buyouts, etc. They buy stuff just super dirt cheap wherever they can get it. And then they basically put it in a dump truck back up to their store space and just pour it in. Yeah, nothing's ever organized. It's just stuff stacked on top of stuff. And they don't bother to price things. You know, they have like a few prices. $1, $2, $3, $5, and $10. You know? Anyway, I went into one of these junk stores with my wife. We'd never been into it before. And I'm digging around, you know. I'm looking for things, and I'm not really seeing anything. A whole bunch of just complete actual junk, you know, just old stuff. Who wants it? Clothes, this kind of stuff. But I happened to be digging in the back of the store, and I saw the corner of a red and white box. And I said, the corner of that box looks familiar to me. Digging into the junk, there's a whole bunch of toys and stuff. Throwing the half-naked Barbie dolls and stuff out of the way, I pulled out a 1995 board game, Weapons and Warriors. Oh my goodness. Listen to it all pouring in the box. Yeah. Let's even it out a little bit. Oh my goodness, you talking about the nostalgia valve is tripped. This game, Pressman Games, 1995. We're going to dig in here. I'm going to show you to this a little bit. But I remember when this game came out in 1995. In fact, I remember most of all the TV commercial. Got me excited about this. And so that you can actually see what the game's about, play that TV commercial.
Warriors. Welcome to the medieval battle action game, Weapons and Warriors. Your deadly crossbow blasts your enemy's defenses. He fires back with his cannon. It's your weapon arsenal against his. But your catapult is in position. If you make this shot, victory will be yours. Weapons and Warriors, 3 sets to choose from, cause the coolest weapons for the first.
Yeah, absolutely love the commercial. Sort of an updated version of what we originally had in the 80s. What was it? Castles and Catapults. Except this was taken to the extreme. You know, it's basically a full rules-light war game where you actually use the siege engines, the catapults, the trebuchets, the scorpions, the cannons, etc. They actually fire and they hit destructible targets, you know? It's absolutely crazy. I had this back in the day. I think it was around 96 or 97. I can remember the day perfectly. My mother wanted to go to the town across from us. It's about 45 minutes, an hour away. They had an actual mall. A beautiful mall. It had a Games Workshop store in it. Arbor Place Mall, Douglasville, Georgia. It was a heck of a mall. You know, it had the modern, up-to-date arcade there in the late 90s, early 2000s. Games Workshop store where I was finally able to get into Games Workshop games properly. Yeah. And they had KB Toy Store, and they also had a Borders Books and Music. Oh my goodness. I never liked doing the mall, but I absolutely love going to that mall. Yeah. Anyways, before we get off the rails completely, we went there, and it was sometime before Christmas or whatever. But I shot over to KB Toy Stores. Why did I go there? Because of their awesome clearance section. You guys remember KB Toys? They had a massive clearance section that was filled with things that had just went out of popularity, basically. What I would do is I would dig through their clearance stuff for video games, especially for the Super Nintendo. They had a ton of Atari Jaguars and Jaguar games and stuff in there. Sega games of different kinds and such. Sega CD games during that time. So yeah. Anyways, I went in there and they had these sets. There was 3 of them. I bought all 3 of them while I was there. I think we paid $5 for this at the junk store, right? I think that's pretty much what you paid for the set back then when it was on clearance. Maybe 10 each. I don't remember clearly. I remember buying them and I remember the day. Anyways, I picked these up and they were a D&D gamer's dream for D&D gamers like me that we didn't have the game stores and all this kind of stuff. It's a box slap full of miniatures and terrain. Yeah. This set, I looked through it, it appears to be complete. Here's the rules. I'm just going to turn the box up so you can see here. It's massive and it's chock full. Let's try not to pour everything out on the table. Yeah? You guys getting a view of that? We'll pull some things out. Anyways, you know, this was a D&D gamer's dream and one of my motivations for buying the game. Also playing the game because it looked quite exciting on the commercials and such. And I had never seen the game in stores until finding it on this clearance section. But yeah, miniatures. We didn't have a reliable way to get miniatures, terrain pieces, etc. This was a dream. Let's dig in here a little bit just so we can show some things. Now, this stuff was held together with rubber bands. That's what gave it the exploding quality, you know. But there's pieces of a full-size castle in here. of all sorts. There's a ton of various style miniatures in here. Let's pull out, you know, that each army had archers, it had pikemen, it had officer or commander style miniatures and such. And it was just an awesome way. And these are proper, these look close to 28 millimeter. They may be 25, but they matched right into what we were using in that time period. But yeah, this was a great just box full of miniatures, horses, you know, tents. This one's not completely together, but three-dimensional trees. You know, it had everything in here. Here's one of the cannons, yeah? And the cannon, all this stuff was interesting because it actually fired. Not that you would want to use that for D&D. There's a catapult, yeah? So it was, like I said, this was interesting stuff. You know, that it was a complete set, and you were getting a ton of stuff that, you know, that was useful for your D&D games. I'm not even sure what that piece is. It came with, this is your ammunition here. You know, these red plastic marble-sized balls. In the bottom of the box, let's see if I can pull this out without destroying too much. Yeah, this is one of them. This thing's going crazy. As you can see, it had these cardboard layouts that had roads and structures where you put your castle and all this kind of stuff down. And so, like I said, there's trees, there's more in here. I absolutely love this. And I haven't seen this in a very long time. I think my original sets are still in storage somewhere at around my mother's house somewhere. Yeah, or where she put storage. Give me a second, we'll talk about the game here. You know, but basically the game was very easy. I actually enjoyed the gaming aspect too. The gaming was fairly easy. It came with special dice. They're six-sided, but the numbers are different. It came with special dice, but you had your armies. And what you could do is you had your siege engines. You rolled two of the die, and they gave you a certain amount of points in which you could use to move your army, move your siege engines, and to load and fire your siege engines. So you had to sort of put a little strategy and forward thinking into what your move was going to be with the points that you had. And you eliminated the other army by destroying all of the miniatures on the other side. And the miniatures, they had spaces they could be in. They're marked out on this terrain and such. But they could climb up into trees. They could get behind fortifications. They could, you know, one team would basically have the castle and the other team would place it under siege. And the reason I have so much nostalgia for this game is not that just we use this stuff for our D&D games, but this was the only sort of fantasy game or anything beyond Monopoly and playing poker and such that I could get my grandfather in. And for whatever reason, he absolutely loved playing this game. We would sit down and we would set it up in the living room. You had to play this on the floor. It's large, and once you get to firing back and forth, these marbles are going everywhere. Yeah, but we would sit down and we would roll up and see which side we were going to get, what sets we were going to use, and just fire back and forth and have a siege game going on. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Well, we got a scorpion here. Yeah, so why did I buy this set? Not just for the nostalgia. The set looks complete and it fetches a good bit on eBay. It's tempting to send this to eBay. But one thing I was looking at and one thing I was thinking about is I spent $5 on this. I've been looking for some siege engine type miniatures and such to use on the tabletop. These would blend right in, honestly. You know, the catapults, the defensive fortifications, all this kind of stuff. It would blend right in with 28 millimeter miniatures. So we may use that. Pieces, this kind of stuff. You know, we can take this, we can alter it, we can sculpt around it, etc. And we can build proper terrain with it if we wanted to. So yeah, looking at the eBay prices, it's like, maybe I should sell this and buy some stuff from the projects we got going on. On the other hand, I'm not getting a box of terrain and siege engines and such for this cheap. You know, I'm not gonna. This isn't something you see every day at a thrift store or a junk store. In fact, it's the first time I've seen this game since I bought it off clearance at KB Toy Stores. You know what? Near 30 years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in any of you guys check this game out back in the 90s. I know some people had to see that commercial. You just had to pay attention to it. There were several commercials, but they were always awesome. To me, I always just admired this game. I mean, you know, Games Workshop games are good, but did they give you working siege engines? We ain't finding that one. Maybe. I don't know. We'll look for it. But yeah, absolutely love this game. The Scorpion, by the way, it couldn't aim up and down. It could only go forward, but it delivered a hard shot. But that, this cannon, yeah? Let's fire this cannon. We're having fun. You know, the cannon would fire pretty hard too. I don't want to hit the camera head on it. It might knock it over. These things hit. You know, but we can load the cannon up. Which way you want to fire it? We'll aim it at you. We'll try to go over you. One more for the fun. What can we shoot? Guys, you guys want to shoot this box? Maybe you can actually see the ball. Let me move the root beer here. Maybe you can actually see the ball. We're gonna fire it from right here. This way you can see everything. Yeah? We're gonna hit the box. You ready? Fire! Let me get that one because we're not gonna find any of these. Oh my goodness. What good times, yeah? I don't know, guys. Like I said, get the camera back over here. Like I said, if you guys played this or have any experience with this, I'd love to hear about it because it was a game that was all over TV and stuff for a while and then it just disappeared. So yeah, lovely fun, lovely fun. Let me get a sip of root beer here. Yeah, a little excitement going on around the table. Next up, let's tell the story, a little bit of storytelling. Let's adjust the camera here. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do this, actually. I have no idea. I'm looking at Facebook Marketplace. For you retro gamers out there, you already know what a jungle this is. Yeah, that people... Go check your Facebook Marketplace out. Look up any console. Most everybody is dreaming, you know, that they have Nintendo tapes for sale. I love Nintendo tapes, yeah. And they see Nintendo or they see Sega, and it's an automatic assumption no matter what it is or what condition it is, it's got to be worth a lot of money. Yeah, that I don't know why, but they make that assumption. For those who put stuff up at reasonable prices, it's very hard to catch it because you have these sharks that just sit on Facebook all day long and watch Marketplace and watch groups and stuff for anybody posting up any kind of retro gaming stuff. And I call them sharks because they are the type, all you got to do is list a console on Facebook, you're immediately going to get approached by them. You know, I've got a Dreamcast collection I'm trying to sell. Complete in-box mint console. Box is a little rough, but mint console, you know, around 20 games, everything. You know, if you're interested in a Dreamcast, come see Deathstalker 5. He's got you a heck of a deal because he doesn't want to sell it across eBay. Yeah? Too many scammers on eBay now with electronics. Anyways, you list something up, the sharks come. You know, like the Dreamcast, for example. If I was going to sell it on eBay, it would probably be an easy $600 lot with free shipping to go out to anywhere. You know, now you can, with eBay, you can go ahead and say 15% rates coming off of your sale plus your shipping. So you're going to be lucky to get out of there with $450 total. Yeah. So when I list stuff on Facebook, I figure that in. So, you know, list it up for 400 or something. For local pickup. That makes it a lot easier. Whoever gets it has a great deal on their hands. You know, but you'll list something like that, then you'll have these jokers come and they'll kick tires and they're all interested in it. And finally they get to the point of what they want to know. Will you take $50 for it? Will you take $60 for it? Yeah, get out of here with that. I imagine they get some people with that. Don't be one of them. Yeah, because they're going to buy it. They're going to do nothing with it and turn around and sell it for the 600, 700 on eBay all day long. Resellers, you got to deal with them. Yeah? So finding stuff on Facebook Marketplace is generally very difficult. That's why I went to the pre-NES consoles. I'm in love with this. The Atari 2600, 7800, Atari 8-bit computers, the TI-99, ColecoVision, and the Intellivision. You know, I love it because, yeah, it's growing in price. You know, especially with the 2600 Plus being released. But for the most part, people don't even bother to check Atari stuff or whatever. It doesn't say Nintendo on it. It doesn't say Sega on it. You know? So, yeah, that's still reasonable. And the collecting and the community and stuff, it hasn't gotten taken over by this fever pitch of trying to push games up into the thousands and thousands of dollars range for certain games. And Atari has some of those, for sure. But for the vast majority of Atari games and such, $10 or less. I can live with that. Anyway, saw this listing on Facebook Marketplace. A lady had posted that she had Nintendo consoles that were broken, non-working. Yeah? No price on it. It was a picture of these guys. Right here. I immediately took interest. Yeah, because it's really hard to find an NES console that doesn't work. You know, it's really hard to find one. I took immediate interest. I messaged her up and I said, what are you looking to get for the NES consoles? And she went into this thing that they're moving. They're completely free. All I have to do is come get them. I said, wow, that's fantastic. Are you sure? She said, yeah. And she lived about an hour away. I couldn't get down there that day. I had my buddy go. But I talked to this lady and she said her husband had bought a bunch of stuff and was trying to fix it, etc. But he couldn't, he just lost interest in it. And in fact, if I was able to work on stuff and fix things, they had a bunch more stuff they would give me for free. Yeah, so of course I took up the deal and I went and picked up. We got 2 big boxes here. We got bags. I have no idea what's in these, but let's talk about the NESs for a second. We got 5 units. Now, I got an original power cord I know that works. Some games and such. I actually stopped by the game store. I went and met my buddy to pick these up in a town about an hour south of us. We had some other things to do. And we stopped and ate. But I stopped at a little store. They had I picked up some Super Mario Brother Duck Hunt carts and such. Made sure we had controllers I knew worked. And a power cord that I knew would work. And so I was interested in testing these. Because I said, if one of these units works, it's more than paid for our trip to go get this stuff and to have a fabulous meal that we did. If only one of these works. Now, the top one, obviously, isn't going to work. It's just a shell. Even the shell, guys, on eBay sells for like 20, 30 bucks. But I was interested, so I tested these out. Do you want to know how many of these NES consoles right here worked out of this 4? 2 of them work perfectly. One of them powers on and actually displays, but has a display problem. And one we have no power on. And I opened these up. Most of them didn't have the screws in or anything. I opened them up. At first, only one worked. I opened these up. I had to reconnect the wiring harnesses to the power switches and controllers and such. But 2 work perfectly. One's got a power problem. One's got a graphic problem. It's the PPU, the picture projection unit, aka a graphics chip. Nintendo had to give names to everything. But look, what an easy fix. We've got these 4 consoles here. If the one that has power issues is unfixable, it's got a PPU chip on it. We just break out our soldering gun, take the PPU chip off, switch it with this one, and then we'll probably have 3 working consoles. I don't know what we have in the bags, but we've got 2 tray doors and 2 without tray doors. We can order the tray doors and all the little pieces and such if we need them to fix these up, clean these up, and get them on eBay very easily. Yeah, but having 2 perfectly working consoles, more than paid for our trip there. That's not even counting what we're going to find in these boxes. So yeah, I love taking a project on. And the lesson, once we get into find out what all we got, we'll talk about values of things sort of as we go. You know, if we clean these up and have them working perfectly, put a controller and a game with them or some other stuff, you know, you're near $100. You know, for a fully for a working console, controller, game, etc. So you know, we got 2 of them already working. We probably have, you know, if push comes to shove, we can snatch the tray doors off these, clean these up, put some controllers with them, some of the games and such, and there's $200 just right there. Yeah, but I believe we can get all 4 of them working perfectly. But it just goes to show you, it pays to pay attention. Those things had been up for a few hours when I seen the post on not only on the marketplace but in several of the buy and sell groups. Now, how many sharks do you think saw that, and because she listed them as non-working, broken, repair, etc., that they didn't even look at it, you know? Hey, every once in a while, small fish gotta eat too, yeah? What the sharks miss will come in. The catfish will come in and clean up. Yeah. But so yeah, they missed that one. The sharks missed that one. We were able to scoop it up. Like I said, I was talking with the lady. I always very polite as I can be online and stuff, especially with strangers. If you get to know me, it's probably like being friends with a drunken sailor. But being very polite, talking to her. I actually got her husband actually got on. We got to talking gaming and stuff. And they said, yeah, we're going to give you the rest of this stuff too because we're moving and we just don't, he said he didn't have the interest in trying to fix this stuff. Again, you know, all these consoles of the Nintendo consoles here were supposedly broken. Okay? So I don't know what all we're going to find. First, we're going to do these bags. I do have a little bit of idea of what's in these bags here. We got 2 massive bags. I can see controllers. I can see light guns hanging out the side of them and such. So yeah, let's open these up and see what's all in these bags. We need our co-star of the show over here. Here's Lucky. Yeah, guys, I don't know what we're gonna do with this. We may have to take a break at some point as we're digging through here because we have so much stuff on the table. Up top, we have a NES Quick Shot. Oh, it's got auto fire on it. Joystick controller. Almost like a pilot stick, yeah? The buttons are clicking properly. It still has the suction cups on the bottom. Controller wire looks great. Don't see any bare spots or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is actually working. Yeah. I can hear the micro switches. I'm going to guess these things were built like tanks. I'm going to guess that this is working. We have light gun number 1. Yes, I can hear it. You guys hear it? 9 times out of 10, if that spring's intact in there that makes that noise, these guns are working perfectly. A lot of people will throw these away because they don't understand that these guns will only work on a CRT TV. The old box TVs, yeah, they try these out on LCD TVs, LED TVs, flat screens of any kind, and they won't work. But it's not that the gun doesn't work, you're just using them on the wrong TV set. These normally go for the high 20s, low 30s a piece. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. We got another one. Is it going to fire? Oh, yeah. And those are the gray ones. This is the one I remember. Oh, yeah. The orange barrel. These ones are the early ones, right? I don't know, the camera looked weird from my angle for a second. I said, maybe, hey, they're not even plugged in, but they're affecting the camera somehow. They switched over to these so that they wouldn't look like real guns. I guess they were scared a kid was going to, I don't know, was going to be playing and the cops would raid the house and they would shoot him if he was holding one of these, shooting ducks on the TV. But if he was holding one of these, the cops would hold fire, right? I don't know. But yeah, remember, I don't know, it hit sometime in the late 80s that we had the coolest toy guns ever. Then all of a sudden, every gun had to have the orange tip and the orange barrels and all this, and it just ruined the good time. We were kids, yeah? What did we do? We found a Sharpie marker, and we would color in the orange. We'd make it black again. But yeah, there's 3 guns. I'm willing to bet any amount of money all 3 of those work. What is this? What is this? This is, I know what this is. They made these for the Atari as well. Guys, it's like an alternative D-pad. Yeah, sort of like the Intellivision. You had a disc down here, and you had your A and B buttons up here along with your start and select. Everything feels perfect. Yeah? I've never seen one of these. And you had also your auto fire and such. Oh, this might be good for shooter games. Yeah? I don't know. It feels sort of weird to... Maybe it's supposed to... No, it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. We'll try this out, though. QuickShot made a lot of weird accessories for the NES. Nintendo made a lot of weird accessories for the NES. What do we have here? We have a Sega, if I can speak English, RF switch. Yeah, this isn't a Genesis one, though. I don't know what... This could be the CD unit. It's not the 32X unit. I'm thinking this is for the Sega CD. Guys, I love my Sega Genesis 32X and CD console. I had it for years. It was one of my favorite consoles of all time. But, yeah, we got the RF switch for that. We got the Nintendo RF switch, and these also came with Super Nintendo. Some RF switches here. Here is a original OEM Super Nintendo controller. Still feels tight, still feels good. Guarantee you that this works, guys. I've got my original stuff from, when did I get my Super Nintendo? 93, I believe. It looks like it's been laying in a landfill. Yeah, it still works perfectly. I still use them. This looks really good for the age. The Super Nintendo stuff was notorious for discoloration. But guaranteed that puppy works. What do we got here? We got a Sega plug-in power supply for the Game Gear. Now that's actually interesting. Game Gear, I like the Game Gear. It wasn't as exciting though. In the early 90s, the handheld to have was the Atari Lynx. Don't tell me any different. Atari Lynx was killer, but Game Gear was good. You know, it was... I never had the Lynx or the Game Gear. Jordan had the Atari Lynx. Jason had the Game Gear. I had the old school Nintendo Game Boy. Yeah, I love the Game Boy. Double Dragon on the Game Boy. Ow, 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 ow. But yeah, they would be showing off their Game Gears and that Atari Lynx and everything. And yeah, I was the loser. I had a Game Boy, but an Atari Lynx power supply. And here. This is a Super Nintendo component cable, RF, or not RF out, the component cable out for a Super Nintendo. And I believe this also worked on the Nintendo 64, if I'm not mistaken. And what else do we have? We have a length of Super Nintendo controller cable that's been cut. Yeah, maybe we can put this stuff, or at least a little bit of it, in the bag here. Because we've got another big bag, even bigger than this one, to open. And in these boxes, I have no idea what's in these boxes, guys, but they're heavy. You know, maybe that Sega Maybe that Sega RF thing, maybe that's a Game Gear. I'm pretty sure that looks like the Sega CD one though. We will find out later as we organize and clean up this stuff. I will figure out things. Oh. Where's Lucky at? Come back, Lucky. Let's go into this other bag now. This bag is a bag of bags, it looks like. I don't know what we got going on here, guys. First up, we've got a Ziploc bag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 NES controllers here. I'm not going to bore you. You should know what an NES controller looks like. If you don't, you're only a Google search away. These are just like the Super Nintendo controller. 9 times out of 10, these work. Okay, so now we've got some controllers to put with our console. One thing about these is they look pretty clean. You clean these up, you put them on eBay. You sell them for 2 for $20 all day long. You know, you got 10 of them here. You know, you got $100 easy on eBay. Just in this bag alone. I hope there's some sharks that rate people on Facebook and can't wait to jump all over these deals and stuff, thinking they're going to be awesome resellers and stuff. I hope you're watching this and eating your heart out because you missed it just because you want to dismiss broken stuff that's listed, not broken or whatever. I know what these are, guys, surprisingly. Holy smokes. We got a treasure trove of them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll pull one out. These are the 72, they're notorious for Nintendo. They're the 72 pin connector that goes into the unit. This is what your cartridges slot into inside the tray of the original NES for America. You know, it had the door open like this, and you put your games here and you pressed them down and they went into the tray. Yeah? This is what the cartridges plugged into. These appear to be new ones. Yeah, so hey, these NES units, they're looking better and better. We got 7 of these. And these are normally hot sellers. So, hey, the possibility, we got 1 shell and 4 consoles. You know, we could replace what's in the consoles, even though I don't think we need to. They fired right up perfectly when I put a game in. They didn't blink, I didn't have to pull them out, etc. What do we got here? We got a soldering tip, miscellaneous pieces, and all the screws for the consoles. Yeah, nothing too exciting. The soldering tip looks nice. Yeah, pull that out for you. I wonder how, I don't know. People can be just a little bit messy, but we got us a new soldering tip. Pencil style. Free soldering equipment. What do we got here? This is the inside of an NES controller. This is your circuitry. This is where the wiring goes. Your buttons sit on top of these gold spaces here, and they have little contacts, and that's why it feels mushy when you play. Here's more screws for the NES. I see the gold screws that if you lose those, it's hard to find those. That's what connects the tray into the motherboard. We got the pieces here. I was wondering about this. We'll pull one of the consoles. Here's the shell. We'll leave it. I don't know. These pieces, the corner pieces here. You see here there's supposed to be something black. Let's see how this slots on. Yeah, boom. That's the corner pieces that are missing. So these consoles are coming together right before your very eyes here. We got all the corner pieces. Plenty of corner pieces in the bag here. Tray doors. There's the 2 tray doors we're missing. Huh? Tell me Deathstalker 5 can't find a good deal. How much did we pay for this again? Yeah, the internals for the controller. Looks like they were cleaning the board. The board's very clean. Here's the shell. Here are the buttons with the contacts on them to go back into the controller. So yeah, we got our screws, we got our tray doors, we got our black corner pieces, we got controllers out the Yahoo here. It's coming together, guys. I don't know. We may keep one of these. Some people already have claimed because I knew I was getting them. I just hadn't. My buddy got them, and I showed like Thaddeus Maximus. I showed him a picture and said, "Hey, look what's coming my way here." And he says, "Hey, if any of those are working, I want a setup. I want controllers, a console, etc." I said, "I've got you." But yeah, more than likely, if we've got all the parts and everything, we'll sell 3 of the consoles for sure. I may keep one just for having here for the show. So yeah, that was some profitable bags there. That root beer is good, guys. Oh. I'm sure the wife was real excited, right? That I'm bringing home even more free stuff I find. Guys, I'm the master at finding free stuff. Yeah? I should literally just start a YouTube channel and take some kind of hit, like, what is it, the glasses that have the camera and stuff, and take you guys to yard sales, I don't know, to landfills, anywhere there's stuff that could be free or really cheap. Deathstalker 5, he's looking. He's there. Yeah. Guys, I'm going to show you the boxes. I have no idea what is in these boxes whatsoever. I'm going to show you. Yeah, you can't see in them. I haven't opened it. I put the post out when we picked this up Friday night. I said, I'm not going to look in these boxes until I do it with you guys here on the show. And we've got yellow bags. But I have no... Oh my goodness. What do we have here, guys? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's a Model 1 too. This is the bottom and the internals of a Sega CD. Yeah? The Sega Genesis sat on top of this and you hooked it and it allowed the Genesis to play CD games. The Sega CD was awesome. The Sega CD was awesome. You know, Lords of Thunder, what a killer shooter. Robo Alesti, what a killer shooter. One of the Cotton games came out on the Sega CD. But there was all these wonderful early full motion video games like Sewer Shark. One of my big games of all time, Wing Commander. The CD version came out here. Oh, it was killer. It was killer. Final Fight that was like arcade perfect, even 2 players. You know, the Super Nintendo had a good version of Final Fight, but it wasn't 2 players. But it was 2 players with the CD music and stuff. This thing was a game changer back in the day. For all of us who didn't have computers and such or understood that kind of thing, for console gamers, this was killer. And it looks in fairly good shape. And we've also got the front piece there, the front panel that would go on like so. Yeah, we just, maybe the top's in here, but hey, we had the RF cable. I said it looked like a Sega CD RF cable. Now I'm getting my hopes up that we've got a complete Sega CD here. What's that worth? You know, $200-300? Come on, guys. Only problem is now is I don't have a Sega Genesis to Model 1 to put on top of this and get it rolling. Yeah, you guys know the story. I sold off almost all of my retro gaming stuff. And now I have the Retron 5, which is a special device that's made to emulate basically the 8 and 16-bit eras perfectly. And it does, and it's wonderful. So I just got rid of a bunch of my consoles and such. I'm still selling, like I said, we got the Dreamcast. We're still selling stuff slowly. But yeah, you know, out of the consoles I've sold, the Turbo Duo and the Tower of Power, Sega Genesis 32X and CD, those are some consoles I really miss for collecting and stuff, just for the fantastic shooter games. Shoot 'em ups are my favorite genre of video games. But we've got a Sega CD, or at least half of one. We have a lot of pieces. Is this the RF? What do we got going on here, guys? This one I don't know. Hang on. I believe we got a spindle there. RF shielding. Yes. Okay, we've got the rest of the CD unit motherboard and RF shields. Yeah, this one's set above the other. The connectors are coming off, but yeah, it's definitely, there's the battery. The battery actually looks new. So this was something somebody was working on for some reason. The board looks clean. I'm going to guess the laser went out on that. That's your number one thing with CD-ROM based stuff. But as you can see on the circuit there, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know what the camera's doing, but it says Sega. This is part of the Sega CD. This is all the RF shielding. Did this come out of this bag? I hope so. RF shielding and pieces of the CD unit. This was the spindle that sat on top. Guys, this is going to be killer if we've got a Sega CD unit. Here is another piece of the Sega CD. This is the this is where you jack everything in. You've got your RF, you got your component, and you've got your power in. This goes into the back of the unit. This is the mounting equipment to go on a Model 1 Genesis, but there's something else in here, and I know what these are. Oh, if we've got this in here. Oh, maybe we've got a full Sega, maybe we got a full Sega Genesis setup in here. I don't know. But these spacers here, these are what came with the 32X, that you put these in your Genesis cartridge port to plug in the 32X and use it as a permanent cartridge port. It would still play your Sega Genesis game, but it also it would also play your 32X games. We got some random plastic pieces here, all black. You know it's got to be Sega. Guys, if we got a Genesis in here and a 32X, I'm going to go crazy. Oh, this is the top of the CD unit. Yeah, top of the CD unit and some RF shielding. Nothing terribly exciting here. Oh my goodness. Okay. More RF shielding. Guys, is there more than one Sega CD unit in here? There's the front of another CD unit. This is the tray for the CD unit. Yeah, this would fit, the CD unit would fit on top of this, and it sat on top of, the Model 1 Genesis was sat on this, and this would go over the top of your CD, and it made like a stack. Yeah, the Genesis I had was a Model 2 with a Model 2 CD unit. It went to the side. But this one was always the much more attractive unit where they stacked up like that. The Tower of Power, baby. But the RF shielding, we've got more Sega CD pieces, but they're duplicates to the ones we have. So it's a possibility that we have more than one Sega CD going on in this box. What do we got here? Okay, this will make it easy. We have a complete layout. Somebody printed it out of whatever they were doing to the Sega CD. We're going to find out because they printed out the instructions step by step. Looks like they made it to step 5 and gave up. You know, but yeah. So we'll be able to see exactly what they were doing with this unit. What could have been wrong with it. That'll make troubleshooting much easier. Guys, what do we have in here? When it rains, it pours, baby. Another Sega CD unit. When it rains, it pours, baby. I knew there had to be two. I was seeing too many duplicate pieces. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're in the game. We're in the game, guys. Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff. We haven't even got to the second box yet. It's even heavier than this box. But 2 Sega CD units that I'm sure we can get back working. We're gonna, even if it's the laser, you can normally, I think they don't offer replacements, but you can find replacements off of several of the CD ROM drives and such off computers. You get them on there, you find them, the ones that have the correct voltage and bit rate and such. Probably going to be from the late 80s, early 90s era. But if the laser's working 9 times out of 10, you can hot swap it over to the Sega CD unit. Guys, give me 1 second. We are crowded over here. All right, last box, guys. I'm hoping for the 32X. Because we have 32X pieces, right? I'm hoping for a Genesis itself. Who's gonna know? Opening the box up again. Oh my goodness, I can see some stuff. Mostly bags, yeah? But I can see some of the stuff now, but I have no idea what's going on here. We're gonna pull out the top bag. And I can't tell you what it is. Now I can. We just talked about this. Oh, this would be cool to have. I had a few of these in my collection over the time. Absolutely loved them. Oh, it's not actually looking bad. We got a speaker. That looks like it's got some burning. The screen looks good though. Anyways, guys, there's the board, just so you can see the board. But we have an Atari Lynx. Yeah? Jordan had one of these. I ended up getting one throughout the years. I've had a few of these come through my hands. Absolutely love it. It was, let's just be honest, the Lynx was the killer handheld of the early 90s. I love my Game Boy. The Game Gear was cool, you know, but the Lynx was killer. Xenophobe. My favorite game was Kung Fu. I'll put the box art up for Kung Fu here. Go check out somebody that's reviewed it or something. Kung Fu is amazing. I beat them up in the refrigerator. But yeah, what was it? Todd in Slime World? No, what was it? Something in Slime World where you were a guy with the slime gun and the world was dripping. Guys, I'm already seeing pieces here. I think we just talked these into existence. We have a shell of a Sega Game Gear. Yeah, this is just a shell. Up next, we have an actual Sega Game Gear. It says momentary power, audio good, video so-so. And it is somewhat taken apart, but it is all here. It's a Sega Game Gear. We got the power cord for it. Yeah? In one of the bags. So, yeah. These normally only need capacitors swapped out. Very easy job to do. I'll dig through them, but these normally fetch pretty good money if they're working on eBay. You know, 80 bucks, 70 bucks. Even if they're not working, they're going to catch 40, 50 bucks each. But the guy that had these, I guess he noted down, so we know exactly what's wrong with this unit. That's nice. Oh my goodness. We got another Sega Game Gear. Well, I'm putting it there just so you can see no trick here, because guess what I'm seeing in here? Another Sega Game Gear. This one, bad audio. The audio board itself is okay. Video so-so. Yeah, that's capacitors. Needs capacitor slot. This one, another Sega Game Gear. Missing the battery compartments. But I think I saw the battery compartments in one of the bags, if I'm not mistaken. What do we got up next? Another Sega Game Gear. No soundboard, main and power untouched. Yeah, another Sega Game Gear. A stack. We got a stack of Game Gears going on here. Can you guess what else is in here? Another Sega Game Gear. Needs mainboard caps, not sure about audio. What else is in here? Another Sega Game Gear? No, what is this? The Sega Game Gear battery pack. Yeah, so how many Game Gears? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Sega Game Gears here in various conditions. Oh, what do we got? Bag, empty bags. Guys, I'm not going to pull it all the way out. It's in pieces here. But we got an original Nintendo Game Boy. Let's pull it out and look at it, guys. I don't know who hasn't seen a Game Boy, but we got people from all over the world that tune in here. They might be interested in seeing what this stuff looks like. I look out for you. Yeah, I don't take the lazy path. Only when I can. Yeah, let's get this all sorted out here so you can get a proper view. There you go. Okay, it's all in pieces right now. So you're going to have to use your imagination if this thing was whole. But you can get a good idea here. Let me get the screen protector back on. The Nintendo Game Boy. Yeah, had the old green dot matrix screen on it. 2 buttons. A lot of the games ported straight from the NES. Very good system. I love my Game Boy. I found one, and my grandfather, he would do postal auctions where he got in tons of these crates that the post office lost packages and stuff. I found a Game Boy in one of them. So here's all of our screws and the power switch for the Game Boy. We got something inside of a napkin. Spare is written on it. We'll leave it in there. And we got the volume. What dial did we get here? There's the contrast dials in there. So we got a volume dial to go in here. So we got a complete Game Boy. I imagine it won't be too difficult to go in here and figure out what's wrong and get this back together and get it working. And I've actually got some Game Boy games, so this might make a nice little thing to put on eBay or something. I found a box of my old Game Boy games several weeks ago while going through the storage. So yes, an Atari Lynx, 7 Game Gears, and an original Game Boy. Not too bad for a free lot, huh? Then we've got this box here. This one's heavy. This was most of the weight of the package here. Or not package, but box anyway. Yeah, let's hide the people's address and names. What do we got here? Okay, it's a ton. I'm going to dig around a little bit. It's a ton of external power supplies for Nintendo, for Sega, Nintendo, hello, Sega. Those for the 2 units. Uh-oh. What do we got here? This is an odd one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think of that handheld. Another Sega. This one is the car adapter for the Turbo Express. Yeah, it lets you play TurboGrafx 16 games. It was a handheld. You could put the Hue cards in and it would play that. Now that might have been the king of the early 90s, but I knew no one who had one of these. I've never had one of these. Too bad we didn't get one of those in the box, but we did get the car power supply. Too bad cars no longer have cigarette lighters made into them. It's all went to USB, but this looks brand new. You know, it's still got the stickers and the zip ties and stuff around it. So yeah, we'll look at this. Guys, what am I going to tell you? What am I going to tell you? It pays to pay attention. And it pays to know how to do some things. You know, some basic electronic work. It's not very hard. You get a soldering gun and a few supplies. You know, some soldering wick. You can detach components. Some tweezers and such. It's not very hard. But just a little know-how. And a score like this. Even though we've got a bunch of stuff in here that I'm sure works. Yeah, I know what's wrong with the Game Gears. We know we got some working NES consoles. The controllers and stuff, I'm pretty sure that none of them are non-working other than the one that's taken apart. But this stuff isn't cheap. So having that little bit of knowledge, hey, we can fix up those 2 Sega CD units. Hey, we're looking maybe around $500. You know, we sell off 3 or 4 of these NES units with controllers and stuff. Hey, we're looking at another, what, $300-400. We fix up 5. If we got 7 of these, okay, we fix up. We got enough parts or whatever. We order the capacitor kits. They're cheap. They're like $2 for the set for each of the consoles. Okay, but last time I checked, working Sega Game Gears that were in clean, just overall nice working condition, original condition, they were selling for close to 80, 90, $100 each with no games or anything. So yeah, it pays to pay attention. Look how many of those people on Facebook that just hunt video games, they only saw a bad picture of some ugly NES units and a listing that said they didn't work. Look at what they missed. Yeah, look at what we gained. It's not like I'm in a shortage of projects around here, but I'll never turn down free video game stuff. You know, if I turn down free video game stuff, that means I have passed away and my wife is in control of whatever account that doesn't want free video game stuff. Just to put that out there in case you need to know that in the future. I'll never pass it up. So, yeah, I'm beyond happy. I'm beyond happy. This is going to be awesome, digging into this stuff and seeing what we can get to work. Yeah, talking about projects, guys. You already know. I know the members know. I'm going to talk to the regular the audience here. Guys, we've got a project that should hatch. You know, God willing, it should hatch by the end of this month. I'm going to go into a 3-part mega episode, and it's going to be toward me and my Aunt Lisa, how I got into video gaming, what was our favorite stuff, a lot of storytelling, everything. It's going to cover the gamut of things, yeah? Because I've been neglecting our classic video game fans here. I've apologized. We haven't did anything since Halloween. And this is important. This is important stuff that I want to put out there because it's part of my history. You know, we have the show here, but this show is about a community. You know, I want you guys to know me and understand me. I want to get to know and understand you. Every time the Random Encounter show pops up in your feed, whether you watch it then or wait for later, you know, you have a place here at the table to come sit down. We talk, we look, maybe you learn a thing or two. Maybe you get a laugh every once in a while. I know I certainly do when I rewatch this stuff of just how ugly and awkward I am on camera. Cheers, huh? But yeah, you know, there's a place, you know, that it's not some, I don't know, studio produced show that is, you're hanging out. That's all I want to do is come hang out with you. This is all about my passion for the hobbies I have, finding like-minded people and just sharing and having a good time. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get all this stuff cleaned up. I've got to go find those Weapons and Warriors marbles that we shot off before the cats eat it and die or puke or whatever. Or the wife, God forbid, finds it when she cleans house. And I get blamed on killing everything in the house. Yeah? Everything's going to choke on these plastic pieces. I should probably also find that root beer top we had. She's lucky I didn't throw the bottle. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys very shortly. We're coming back in with all kind of stuff here on the Random Encounter Show.
And this has been but one tale from the days of high adventure. You can join Deathstalker 5 on his quest by hitting that subscription button and joining his Random Encounter army. On the channel's About page, you will find our Facebook page and Facebook group where you can get more directly involved with the fun. And make sure you use our affiliate links to support our show.